Okay, so let's talk about Control Tower. And Control Tower is a way to set up a multi-account AWS environment with the best practices. And so as such, it's going to be automated setup. We're going to have policy management and a dashboard for visibility. You don't pay for Control Tower, but you're going to pay obviously for all the accounts and services that are enabled by Control Tower. So let's go ahead and set up our landing zone. And a landing zone is a way to have multiple accounts. So there is shared accounts, and there are 3 accounts that are according to Control Tower best practices. We're going to have a master account to use your account email right now that you have and create this landing zone. And by the way, you don't have to follow along this hands-on because it's going to have a lot of things that you probably don't need, but I will do it just to demo it to you. Then we have a log archive account. So this is an account dedicated to receive logs and is best security practice to separate your master account and your log archive accounts. So I can have and then an audit account. So I'm just creating different accounts for Control Tower. And then for service permissions, we can learn more about permissions right here, and you can learn more about guidance. And guidance is how you should manage your accounts once you've enabled Control Tower. So I'm not going to read it out to you, but if you do intend to use Control Tower in your enterprise, please read this guidance because they do provide very strong guidances around what you can and cannot do or what you should and shouldn't do. And then where you're happy, you say, yes, I'm happy, and I set up my landing zone. And this is going to go ahead and set up all these different accounts on top of your organization to get you started with Control Tower. So as you can see, the setup is going to take about 60 minutes and it's going to take a long time. It's going to set up 2 OU, 3 shared accounts, a native cloud directory with pre-configured group and single sign-on access, and 20 preventive guardrails to enforce policies and 2 detective guardrails to detect configuration violations. So a lot of things are being set up. I'm just going to wait a little bit until this is done. Okay, so my landing zone is now available and it has set up 2 things, 2 organizational units, 3 shared accounts with master accounts and isolated accounts for log archive and security audits. There's a native cloud directory with single sign-on access, and I'll show you this in a second. And then 20 preventive guardrails to enforce policies and 2 detective guardrails to detect configuration violations. So a lot of things was created using Control Tower. And if I go to organizations right now, I can show you right away what was created. So as we can see here, we have the 3 accounts already in my organization. And if I look to organize accounts, we see there's custom and core organizational units. So in core, we have the audits and archive. And in the custom, we currently have no accounts, okay? So we shouldn't manage the accounts through organizations though. We should every time manage the account through Control Tower. And so here are some recommended actions. So add or register OUs, configure your Active Factory, more guardrails, and review users and access, and then review shared accounts. So a lot of things are happening here in this dashboard. We get also access to non-compliant resources based on the rules that we have defined. We get some information around the registered or OU that have been created and whether or not they're compliant. So that's perfect, as well as all the enrolled accounts into my account. And for the guardrails, we can view all the guardrails right here. By clicking on view guardrails. And so here we get the information around all the rules that allow that are enforced on ROUs, for example. Disallow the deletion of log archive. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense. Disallow public read access to log archive and so on. Disallow configuration changes to CloudTrail. All these kind of things are excellent to have and are set up by Control Tower according to best practices, okay? You could always create accounts right here, so you can view all the accounts here. And then in the OU, you can virtually OU and add an OU if you wanted to. And here is the guardrails. The account factory is how you enroll an account into your Control Tower, which is great. Users and access. So this is how you manage the user access to your whole account sets. So we have a single sign-on right here, and there is a user portal URL right here. And the way to handle user identity management right now is with single sign-on, which is a service by AWS. Shared accounts are here, landing zone settings, and so on. So as we can see, this is a full management suite for multiple accounts. And so if we go into the SSO portal, as we can see here, there's a sign-in button, and then there's a password that I have to share. So I'll just use the password that I have right here that I've created from before. And I sign in. And now I am into my SSO. and I'm able to log in into any of my 3 AWS accounts. So we have the audit account, the log archive account, and the Stefan CCP account directly accessible from this UI. So for example, if I want to go into the audit, I can click here to go into the management console of this audit account, or click here to get command line or programmatic access. So this is really, really neat. And here we go. I am into my audit account right now. So it really shows you the power of Control Tower. Now, it's not something that you would do on your own, obviously. And now that I've moved away from my accounts and I need to reload my screen, but this is to show you that, yeah, it's quite handy, I would say. So I'm just going to log in back into my CCP account. It's quite handy to use Control Tower in your account to set up multiple accounts according to best practices and manage it from there. So if you are an organization that wants to have a multiple best practice setup, then please use Control Tower. Okay, that's it. I hope you like this lecture, and I will see you in the next lecture.